Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2014 Chevy Sonic, we're going to be checking out the etrailer.com SD tow bar. Before we jump right in, I figured it'd be beneficial just to kind of touch base and refresh yourselves on the main parts that we're going to need to flat tow our vehicle down the road in the first place. And the first one's going to be a base plate, and that's going to provide us with a solid and reliable attachment point. That way we can hook our tow bar up to it. Tow bar will be the second component, and what that's going to do is be the physical link that actually connects the front of our vehicle to the back of our motorhome. Third main part will be your safety cables, and these are just there in the event of an unlikely disconnect. They're going to keep everything paired together. The fourth main part will be your tow bar wiring, and what this is going to do is transfer lighting functions from the back of your motorhome to the back of your Chevy. And last but not least, the fifth main part will be a supplemental braking system. And what this is going to do is apply the brakes in your Sonic whenever you hit the brakes in your RV, helping to bring you to a more controlled and predictable stop. With that out of the way though, picking out a tow bar is a pretty important decision. You know, it's responsible for a lot of the work, and so you want one that is going to be easy to live with. Kind of right out of the gate, there's several different variations of this particular tow bar. And really the only thing that's going to change is the type of ends, and those are available to be able to pair up with the type of base plate or brand of base plate that you have. So for example, today we have the Roadmaster base plate, so we have Roadmaster ends. If you have a Blue Ox, there's one for that, eTrailer or Demco base plate, and so on. So be sure to pair it up correctly. One thing to check is make sure that you have pins though to actually connect the tow bar to the base plate. Some cases it might not come with them, so think about that. But one of the things with this particular tow bar is it's going to be a non-binding type. All right, and what that means is we're going to have some release handles right here, because what can happen whenever you are flat towing, these arms will lock into place, and when you go to disconnect everything, it can get in a bind, right, and make it super difficult to get the pins out and get everything disconnected. Well, if that happens, all you're going to have to do, each one of the arms is going to have a little lever there. You push that in, it'll release that tension, get it out of that bind, and make it manageable again, be able to separate it. So honestly, if I had to recommend one thing, whether you go with this tow bar or not, it's get a non-binding one, and you'll thank me later, because the binding type ones are a huge pain to get undone if that happens. This particular one as well is going to come with your safety cables, so that's nice. You know, it's one less thing you're not going to have to worry about picking up separately. With that in mind though, one thing you need to pay attention to, especially on a Chevy Sonic, a lot of times you sit low to the ground, and for example, our motorhome, the hitch sits way up high, and you're going to want your tow bar to ride level, and so we've got this big drop on it. So by putting the big drop on and bumping our attachment point out, our cables did fall a little bit short to be safe, so we use some extensions there. So if you got to set up something like this, it may be something that you need to do. With talking about that high-low though, this particular one actually has one built into it. I believe it's 1.5 inch drop or rise. So that's nice. You can get away with potentially not using one at all, or using a less aggressive high-low adapter. And the way to figure out if you would need one of this, because it is really important that your tow bar rides properly. You know, it's going to provide you with the best tracking, you know, how well the vehicle is going to stay behind the motorhome. You know, it's going to absorb the road shock better and put less wear and tear on your suspension components and stuff on your vehicle. So to figure it out, it's pretty easy. Pull a vehicle, your motorhome up something like this, flat ground. You're going to measure from the center of your hitch pin, or your tow bar pin there, down to the ground. Take that measurement. Same thing from the center of your hitch pin hole down to the ground. And the rule of thumb is you want that measurement to be within 3 inches. Okay, so as long as you fall within that, you're in pretty good shape. So if you fall without of that range, you need to pick a high-low that'll drop it down and then get you into that. And we have a ton of different types and sizes available right here at eTrailer. Tow bar is going to have this rod on the side of one of the arms, and that's so you can put your tow bar wiring up on it and kind of keep it up off the ground and keep it organized. So a nice touch there. You know, if you haven't got tow bar wiring yet and you're picking some up, make sure you get a kit or the style that's like this coiled one here. That way you can actually utilize this properly if you decide to go with this tow bar. The tow bar is going to have a 6,000 pound maximum weight capacity, so more than enough for the Sonic. If you're going to be pulling maybe 2 vehicles around, so you got this and a bigger truck or something, there's also an XD, a heavier duty version of this available, so you can look into that as well. But other than that, good choice. You know, solid tow bar. It has some cool features in it. It's pretty easy to work, and one you really can't go wrong with. The way you can actually use your tow bar too, whenever you're not hooked up to your vehicle, you can store this on the back of your motorhome, right? That way you don't have to take it in or out, or you know, try to find a place somewhere else to keep it, because storage is pretty limited when you're over the road, right? So you can unhook, and then the arms, you can do all kinds of things. You can store them side to side like this, or just kind of your classic to one side here, just like that. So you can keep this back here permanently if you want to, you know, temporarily. Either way, I suggest probably it wouldn't be a bad idea to get a locking hitch pen to kind of keep everything secure. And you can also pick up, if you want to store it back here all the time, you can pick up a bag or a cover that will go over thing and just help keep the elements off of it. And that'll finish up our look at of the etrailer.com SD tow bar on our 2014 Chevrolet Sonic.